Hey there, fellow engineers. Rodamont here. Thank you for tuning in to Stationeers Brutal Vulcan. Episode 59. Hooking up the rocket umbilicals. One thing that's going to be important to note is that the rocket is not a volume pump. So you will require a volume pump to be able to pressurize it. And I know I had a hunger caution. I'm not worried about that. All right, then the other thing we're going to want to install in here is the scanner. And I think that's fine. The scanner only needed, what, like one steel sheet welded? Yep, that's fine. It fits. And then the scanner head, which is installed on it, like that. Perfect. And then the data and power hooked up as well, but of course I'm out of cables. So let's go eat, drink, get cables, and hook the rest of that up. You can kind of see a rocket, you know, in process. Definitely more rocket-like now than it was before. Yeah, the batteries seem quite costly in terms of resource. So, there is no RTG, you know, there's no fuel to battery. So basically there's no solar or anything like that. So the power that you put in your rocket, I shouldn't have taken that off, is finite. And when it runs out, your rocket dies. If it's a mining rocket that regularly lands back on Vulcan and then launches back, you're not, you know, it's not single use. But our first rocket here is functionally a single-use rocket by design. That's how we intended it to be. Alright, that's probably enough for now. Go tend to our physical needs. I should also just get rid of this, like, water bottle, so I have more suit slots, because I don't need to carry around water on me, I don't think. So I'll just refrigerate a bottle or something. So the reason why I have single use here is, at the moment, the bottleneck for me launching rockets is fuel. And the amount of fuel required to send a survey rocket up, if it's just a survey rocket, there's no real need for it to ever come back down to Vulcan. What am I delivering? The data is being sent via the downlink. It doesn't need to land ever again. So there's no reason to give it enough fuel for, like, if you put satellites around Earth, those satellites don't have enough fuel to land back on Earth. That's insane. No one does that. That's so much extra fuel, right? You just have enough fuel to put it up in orbit. So think of this first rocket as a satellite. It's not weird. It's not wasteful. That's just how satellites go. You launch a satellite, it does its satellite stuff, and then once you're done with it, you're done with it. And oh, we have a storm coming. In Stationeers, there's no need to, like, deorbit anything. So think of it that way. Change your frame of reference and it makes a lot more sense. Our first launch is a satellite launch, which is, like, reasonable. If you're trying to scale up a space program, you don't go for mining asteroids on your first launch. You go for something simple. And the satellite is actually really cool in this game, so I wanted a satellite. Hence this being the job. Can you carbonate water in this game? Sort of, with a pressurant valve. It doesn't actually make it fizzy or anything. But, like, technically speaking, it's water with carbon dioxide mixed in, I guess. All right, so now the scanner is now hooked up to the same network. Let's plug in everything else, and then get as much work done before the storm goes, haha, screw you, and stops our progress. So now, everything inside this rocket, the gas tank, the engine, all of the batteries, and the scanner are all connected to the same data network that is fed by these triple batteries. The next part of this is getting Avionics and the downlink, and then hooking up the umbilicals to the base for fuel and power so that we can actually feed fuel and power to it. Storm timing is terrible, though. So, Avionics and downlink. And these are the last two components that have to go in the rocket, and then the rocket is essentially finished. So let's get this installed and then start working on the rest of the umbilicals. I should have gone out with these in hand when I went out, but I forgot. So I'll put the Avionics up here. And I'll put the downlink here. Seems reasonable spot for him. So this thing needs electronic parts. And this needs cable coils. Then I think the... What were these electronic... Oh, yeah, there we go. So I believe the downlink is done. Oh, did I? Yeah, I need to rotate that. The battery, the power slot for the... I mean, once the Avionics is controlling it, it's not a problem. But I'm gonna move where that is, because the power slot is, like, covered. What tool breaks that down? Cable, probably wire cutters. No? Drill? Oh, that's, yep. That's why when people work at high elevations, they tether their tools. Because, yeah, you don't want a drill falling from the height of a radio tower and mega bonking someone to death. Or maybe you do. Maybe like a workplace accident, if you're like a villain or something. Alright, angle grinder? What the hell tool am I... wire cutters, okay. I'll just put the downlink somewhere down below where there's like more room to work. Yeah, here's fine. I just want... Oh, shoot. I just want the power connector visible. Or the link visible. That'll make more sense. Once it's done. Because you can actually see whether it's like powered or not. But I covered that port up when we were building it. Oh, that's a terrible spot actually. I take that back because this is the wrong data network. Yeah, okay. I gotta move it again. Yay! And like this is like very much part and parcel of what rocket building is. It's just a constant like, oh crap. Everything's slightly off. Gotta move it, gotta move it. You know, just how it is. Alright. Downlink should be... That spot should be safe. Because then it won't be covered. Because that's not the data network I want to connect it to. This is. Sorry for the digital nod. Perfect. Ish. Third time's a charm. Okay. So the downlink is done. And the avionics just needs, welded metal. And it is done too. And that turns on and off, and Avionics runs your everything. I'll eventually weld up the entire oh, it's not wired. I'll eventually weld up the entire fuselage, but I'm going to leave it open for now in case we want to tinker. But that is all the components that goes in the rocket, minus like the fuel that it needs to operate. And then once we're ready to go, we retract the umbilicals, we'll close the doors, we send it off into space, and it goes vroom. So here we're going to want we're going to want like some sort of turbo pump to be able to pressurize the system with like a pipe meter. So let's start making the components needed to actually fuel this thing up. But the rocket functionally is built. Except for that last welded steel, it's done. It's probably going to be an ash storm because it's arriving at night, so it's likely an ash and not a solar. Either way, it's going to be annoying. Disruptive. Coming in 45 seconds. Okay, turbo pump. Turbo pump with gas. And this is so that you can pump fuel into it from our fuel line that we have yet to build. And then we'll need a pipe meter to know what the pressure is, because basically the gas that you're pumping into that pipe is umbilicaled to the fuel tank, so the pressure of the fuel tank and the pressure of the pipe are going to be one and the same. Yeah, it's ash storm. Got it. And this turbo pump is going to be on the same heavy watt cables, because, you know, that takes like 500 watts. Well, it depends on how much you're revving it, but yeah. Then we want a pipe meter, so I can just see what the pressure is. No, that's a liquid pipe meter. Let's try that again. A regular pipe. No, that's an analyzer. Pipe meter. So I can see what the pressure is. Cool. The problem I'm going to have is I need, so here's the thing. I think that the fuel gas mixer shouldn't be here. Because when I'm trying to fuel the rocket, I'm going to want to make fuel out there. So it can't be in here, because I can't turn it on or off to control how much fuel is being produced. Because a gas mixer, like, is stupid. It will just mix gas until your, like, pipes explode. To that end, we'll probably want an insulated tank of mixed fuel, because that's another way to do it, is to mix the fuel from the gas mixer to have a lot of gas in a big tank, and then take that tank and use a turbo pump to feed it into the rocket. That makes a bit more sense. Because, and my reasoning is, I don't want to mix fuel when I don't know the temperature of my volatiles and my oxygen, because my oxygen and volatiles have to be the same temperature. So it makes sense for that reason to have the gas mixer in here, because I will be able to know, oh, my oxygen and my volatiles are the same temperature, so it's fine to mix gas. So I think that's what I'll do, is I'll install a insulator tank once I have more steel, out there, and fill the tank full of fuel that then can be used for the pumped gas engine. With that in mind, I am definitely going to need more insulator pipes, so I'm going to use up the last of my 7 steel, making insulator pipes. And it won't be enough, but it's a start. Did I get the pollutants out? While that's printing up, let's check. I'm assuming yes, because, like, it's been a while. Yeah. I don't see any pollutants in the base anymore. And we have a pretty good view of the... I mean, there's nothing to see here. But if there was, it'd be a good view of the ash storm. Maybe now is a good time, oops, to do some organization. The items I never use can go back to, like, the dead shelf. The shelf of shame, the shelf of items that I made and do not use. Old mining belt, and this is empty, right? Yeah. Old mining belt. The solar kit, you know, just the junk. More organized. Let's put this stuff away. It's mostly because I've never bothered with a recycler, because the amount of resources I could gain from recycling that stuff is, like, such a small fraction of what I care about that, like, I could put that away. I should, probably at this point, because I need to make steel soon, keep the mining belt on me, though. These pipe radiators can get... And then put the network analyzer back in my inventory as well. And then put more of this stuff in the, like, nested shame crate. Oh, God, I already had a stairwell? Okay, well, good job me. Oh, no, this is a stairwell, not a stairs. This is different. Get rid of that. And I can reasonably see, maybe not the crowd too. I can reasonably see all the rest of those items being used at some point. You know, the volume pumps. These are like common use stuff. Maybe not the iron walls though. But the rest of that stuff I can see wanting in the near future and then needing to make. So I'll leave that there. Little house cleaning. Ash storm. Yep. Yeah, of course. What else? Replace batteries? Not a lot of batteries needing replacing. Put the alloys away. Well, I'll need the silicon for the insulator pipes. I'll just leave that in there. The deep spares, yeah, exactly. You understand. Well, we don't have a lot to do, because, I guess I could farm? Yeah, let's do that. Just waiting for the ash storm to go away. Because I'm not going to be able to mine steel during an ash storm. I mean, I could try, but it would be stupid. I don't want to make fuel because there's nowhere to put it. I don't have a storage tank for it. So... It hasn't seeded yet. Never mind. I'm not even going to do farming, I guess. And this one hasn't even fruited either. Alright. Well, I guess that's a bust. There's still plenty of water in that, so I don't even need to add water. Something different to cook? I don't really have the ingredients to cook anything different. I mean, I could make French fries, I guess. Are they even the right hydration level, though? Oh, yeah, they're still best. That's oil and potato. Yeah, let's make some French fries. I don't want to do traders. They can't land in the storm. So, and I can't go outside. It's an ash storm. I mean, I could probably go outside, but it's damaging. It's, like, kind of not smart. Microwave. So 3 potatoes, 5 oil. Vulcan fries. For a little food variety. Ding, fries are... Oh god, I should not. That was... Hey, I can go back outside. Yay! It's day. Or rather, the ash is done. There you go, French fries. You're welcome. Or, good idea. Whatever. Somewhere in between. Waste tank, air tank, and then let's get steel and silicon. That's going to be the bottleneck. So at this point, fuel and charge up the rocket is the priority. The rocket's already built, minus like the one sheet I haven't welded, not a big deal. So it's really just a matter of hooking up those umbilicals to a source. And that's a matter of having the steel and silicon to be able to do that. So it's steel and silicon time. Ow. No, I hate... Sometimes loose items on the ground just like you can't pick up because they clip weird. I'm going to get silicon first, because I'm going to run the silicon through the arc furnace. And I've already missed the window. Oh no, I haven't actually missed the window for steel today. It would just... I would have to go real fast. It's probably not attainable, to be honest. Let's make a small batch. Maybe I can do a quick small batch. I swear, the C's sometimes look like U's. I'm like, ooh, uranium. But no, they're obviously not uranium. Alright, let's see if I can quickly get some iron so that I can smelt it today rather than tomorrow. Need just 150 of this stuff. Done. Yeah, I don't think I'll be able to do it, because it will need to vent out as well. I mean, one way to do it would be to, like, preheat it with, like, silver or gold to get it hot, but whatever. I'll have it when I have it. Or I could use the advanced furnace, but I don't really want to use fuel when I don't have to, because any usage of fuel means less rocket fuel later. It is 6:54 out. If I can vent this out quickly, I can maybe make it? If I had bigger vents, if I did the mega-powered vents for my furnace, it would be way more doable. I'm not running mega-powered vents, so... it is what it is. Alright, let's get the turbo installed. So I'll put a pipe meter here, so I can read the pressure of the tank, and then the turbo next to it so I can see what it is set at. And then these, I'll eventually have like an insulated tank of fuel, like maybe there, but I don't need to worry about that at the moment. So given that I'm going to possibly have an insulated tank of fuel I'll put one there, and then this can be like a 10. Oh, crap. A 10 working its way back to my fuel line. Because my fuel line is... that one? No, this one. That's my fuel line. So that pipe has to connect to this. I'll add a little fuel to it so I can see it very obviously. But I believe that's the fuel line. Alright, let's see if I have vacuumed it out. It's possible I'll be able to get steel today. Yeah, no, actually, I'll be able to. Because I can pressurize this to... Yeah, I'll be able to get it. Good. I'm glad I rushed. Ta-da! Nice. Oh, that is actually the right thing. All right, let's make a little fuel. It's kind of the wrong temperature. Ideally, you want like 20 Celsius fuel, but like whatever. So now there's a little bit of fuel in the pipe, so I can tell that it is indeed a fuel pipe. And let's get the tank first. And then I'll do more piping. And this is so that we can add like a massive volume capacity for fuel so it doesn't rupture the line. Because, you know, blowing up a fuel line is kind of a bad thing on Vulcan. It's one of the reasons why Vulcan is so dangerous compared to other planets, is there's hot volatiles in the atmosphere, which means as soon as oxygen is introduced, it goes kablamo and explodes. Whereas like on Venus obviously is super hot and super pressurized, but it does not, however, have, you know, volatiles on it. So it's more inert, even if it is more pressurized. And that being inert is a huge benefit, I think. Oh, shoot, we already have a tank. Okay. So, this is just going to be a small tank. I don't need the big one. Big one's overkill. So that's the fuel tank. And, nope. Insulated pipes. How many... 26 heavy cables, probably not going to be enough. Yeah, my coolant has cooled down. That's a good thing, obviously. Let's check on everything. So, 25, 17, that looks fine. The intake is 34, and the coolant is 31. Awesome. We can basically filter the intake without any threat at all, because it's like just about base ambient already. And I might improve that system once we have a rocket launch under our belts, as I mentioned. So I'm gonna say like 30 pipes is probably enough, and then maybe like 40 heavy cables ish. Just a guess. If I need more, I'll come get more. Alright, let's try to hook this up and install the volume tank so that we can add a lot of fuel to the system. Oh, we're getting close. I can feel it. So first, the tank shouldn't be too close to the landing pad because of things go boom. You don't want your fuel to go boom. But this is for all intents and purposes, I think reasonably far away. I could even do it like... well, first, let's see. So this... Oops. I moved the wrong thing. This is indeed the fuel line, right? There's obviously fuel in it. So... how about I put the fuel tank here? Because what's being fed into the H2 combustor is obviously fuel. So, yeah, that's fine. There's the tank. And then... Oops, that's backwards. So this is our fuel line that runs to the tank and then runs out to the pad. And I just have it over here just so it's like really far away from the pad so that if we do have a bad explosion for landing, there's no loss for you know, resources of fuel, which is harder to, I mean, it's annoying to replace. I think I'm gonna want... Oops. Should do another flatten run. Here we go. Whatever. And connect these two up. So I am shy just like a pipe or two. Right, like literally 2 pipes shy, plus what we need for the tank. Or, I already have the tank, actually. So yeah, I'm shy like a pipe or 2. Let's just get those pipes so I can start... Well, we need to cable it up. So let's start laying the cables, because that's a whole separate thing that I might need to print up more cables. So from... here, I'll run the cables down, and then run it parallel to the pipe I've got going out. So we'll hook up to it here. And power is really straightforward. I mean, you just turn the thing on, and once it's plugged in with an umbilical, it starts to charge up. And we just want to fill all 3 batteries, which is a lot of power. It's a lot of juice, and for that reason, that's why we have all these heavy cables, because it's going to move just over 10 megawatts of power into the rocket batteries. And that's a lot of megawattage to be moved. And it looks like I'm gonna need a few more cables to get this working, because I am just about out. But now we have the turbo pump plugged in. And then that will run up to the umbilical for both power and gas. Cool. So we're very, very close. We need like 2 more insulated pipes and then maybe 20 heavy cables. Less than 20 heavy cables is actually needed, but 20 should be fine. And the total volume capacity of the fuel now is much, much, much greater. So if we take a look at this fuel line, it's capacity 6,000 liters up from like 600 liters, so I'm not going to rupture it. Which is why we did it that way. Yeah, explosions can damage pretty far away. In my experimentation of landings, I haven't had explosions. I mean, we'll see. Wait and see. Maybe it's not enough. Maybe it is. Time will tell. So yeah, now the like 10 MPa pressure of the fuel network is down to like 600 kPa because there's just so much more capacity. And I'm sure I'll use the pipes, more pipes at some point, so I'm just making a few extra. There's no storms coming in. Tools are recharged. Yeah, we are just about all set to go. Almost out of gold. Enough to get this project done, though. Alright, let's get it hooked up, finally. Giant cable network that runs pretty far. Terminates over here. Do you think it's overbuilding, but with a rocket profit from fuel having cooled at 20C? Doesn't matter. Not in the scheme of things, I don't care. Yes, you can fit, the cooler the fuel is. I mean, at some point, it's like, all right, liquid fuel is even better. The issue with liquid fuel or pressure... So the other engines that we have available to us... Let me back this up and explain a little bit greater in detail. So the other rockets that you can build... oh, come on. Are the liquid, like pressure-fed rockets... Wow, the wiki here does a terrible job of listing them all. Maybe engine? So you have pressure-fed engines, but pressure-fed engines, unfortunately... So there's pump gas engines, which is just gas, volatile gas. Like, that's it. You have pressure-fed engines, pressure-fed liquid engines, and pumped liquid engines, and those all require IC code to keep pressure levels normalized. So the only one that I can really accomplish, given my rules, is the pump gas ones, because I'm not using IC code. So yeah, the cooler your gas is, the less dense it is, and less dense gas is obviously easier to fit more into a tank. With that said, I'm not going to get anywhere close to filling my tank for the satellite launch, because the tank that I need for this satellite launch is small. I don't need to fill it, so it doesn't matter what temperature it is. If I wanted to do a lot of space exploration, then temperatures would start to matter more. But it's sort of like saying, hey, I'm going on a work commute in my car. Should I cool my gasoline in the car down to negative 35°C so that it takes up less room so I can travel farther? It's like, it's a work commute. Who cares? You know, that would be the equivalent. Now that these are on, I can turn on the umbilicals and then extend them. And with the umbilicals extended, the batteries in the rocket are being charged. So if we take a look at the network analyzer, well, first you can see the avionics turned on. You can see the potential power going up. because the rocket is getting powered up. And because the avionics are already on, I'll be able to link up to the avionics, the Nobla survey rocket, from inside. And then likewise, if I extend the umbilical gas, and I'm only going to do like a test pump of gas, because obviously there's not a lot of gas. We didn't make like a batch of gas to go into the tanks, so I don't have enough gas to even fill this thing. But now there's 8 moles of gas in this pipe, and then what I'm more interested in is how much is in here. So I'm going to want... Oh, is that not insulated? Well, whatever. Is what it is. I didn't realize these tanks aren't insulated, so that's a problem. But, so that means I should batch my gas all at once, so let's reverse course and pull it back. Until this reads 0, or near 0, so it's not a temperature problem. Hence the turbo pump, because, you know, the other pumps can't do that. So let's go make a batch of gas and get this thing ready to launch. But before I do that, I want to connect it up to the uplink so that we can read some interesting data from it. Thank you for tuning in to Stationeers Brutal Vulcan, which originally streamed live on Twitch. If you have any questions for me, let me know in the comments below. If you'd like to catch a live stream of mine, Rodamont.com has my stream schedule and countdown timers to upcoming streams. If you'd like to join my online gaming community on Discord, Rodamont.com has a link to it, as does the description of this video. Thank you so very much for watching. Special thank you to my Twitch subscribers, Patreon patrons, and viewers like you that support the channel and made it all the way to the credits. Thank you so very much. I hope to catch you next episode or an upcoming stream. Farewell, my fellow engineers.